Hey, welcome to Computers for the Completely Clueless. I'm Lee Keller.
I'm Kim Cavanaugh.
And we're going to clean up our act today a little bit.
We are going to clean up our act. It's the new year, and a lot of people do spring cleaning, but I think it's a good resolution to make is to get your computer set up for optimum performance.
Get those performance enhancers out there.
Yeah, those performance enhancers, Lee. I knew you were going to work that in sooner or later. So what we want to look at today, we're going to look at a couple things, and I think I like the way you've broken this down. We're going to look at things that you can do on the outside of your computer, the equipment, the hardware, the actual computer itself, plus some things that you can do on the inside of your computer, the software and all those kind of things. So, we're going to look at it kind of from that aspect, and we're going to go nice and slow as usual.
We're going to make this easy.
We're going to make it easy. We're going to look at the things that really make a difference on how your computer operates. If you've got an older computer, say 3 or 4 years old, things start to slow down.
Yeah.
Right?
And you wonder why.
And a lot of people say, oh, my internet connection is slow. My computer takes a long time to start up. It seems like things are happening much more slowly than they used to. And probably to you, it all seems that way.
Yeah.
But a lot of those problems really are caused by just maintenance operations that need to be done. So, I mean, you wouldn't drive your car without changing the oil, right? Well, okay.
I've done that.
You shouldn't drive your car without changing your oil, because sooner or later you're going to impact performance.
Or stop.
or the
computer
crash.
stops. Yeah.
And the computer can do the same thing. So let's look at our objectives for today's class.
We've got some performance enhancers.
We've got some performance enhancers.
First thing we're going to look at is this outside stuff here. And we're going to talk about the keyboard and the monitor, how to clean it, where your computer should be, and how to take those wires that are messy outside.
Yeah, a lot of people hate those. I know somebody in my family just hates seeing wires hanging around.
I don't like really seeing them, but
no,
I haven't figured out how to get around all of them yet.
Right.
On the inside, we're going to talk about the cache and browser.
Ooh, we're getting cache?
Cache, yeah. A little credit.
You spelled it wrong, though.
Not.
No, it's a different kind of cache. Okay.
Uninstall junk software. That's all that garbage that you put on there for free. And
right.
You probably learned about it on one of our shows. And we'll talk about some disk cleanup and defrag.
And if you're getting a new computer for the holidays, and these are good things to do as a habit, to get in the habit of taking care of your computer and getting really the most out of the investment that you've made in that new piece of machinery.
Yeah, of course, we're going to get to some viewer mail.
All right, got some great viewer mail, and we're going to, of course, be looking for more viewer mail in the future. All right, so let's take a look here, Lee. And so we're going to start with the outside of the computer.
Actually, this is a little bit inside and outside, but we're going to look on the inside and see what the effect is.
Oh, but the objective said we're going to look at the outside.
Well, the outside is what affects the inside.
All right, so the outside we're talking about the hardware, the actual physical stuff that you can touch.
And just for an idea, we Googled dirty computers. And we got a lot of interesting things on here.
Dirty. That's the air intake on a computer.
Yes.
And you may not know it, and you probably heard it at home. You probably know there's a fan running when your computer's running.
That's where all the noise
really,
comes from.
That's the noise. I mean, you hear a little noise. That's really the only time you really know that your computer is actually running. Every computer, pretty much, has a little fan that brings in air from the outside.
Helps cool it.
And it cools down because the processor, the brain of the computer, generates a lot of heat. As it's working, it creates heat. And in order for the computer to operate properly, that heat has to go somewhere. So there are actually little radiators inside your computer.
Let me show you one of those little radiators.
Okay. Oh, that radiator
God.
does not look so
This is bad.
good. Now, if your car radiator looked like that, you probably would be overheating your car.
And you're going to be overheating your computer the same way.
And if your computer radiator gets that much dust accumulated, it's going to have problems as well.
It's really bad.
So, Lee, how do I fix it?
There's another one. This one isn't quite as bad, but you can see there's a lot of dust in there.
Right.
And that's a major problem in a computer. So there are a couple things that we want to talk about there. And probably the first thing is, where is your computer?
Where is my computer?
Yeah.
It's behind the wall.
Right. And for us,
at home, where is your computer?
Yeah.
We'll have mine up on top of the desk.
Good spot for it.
Okay, that's the hard drive, not just the monitor.
Yeah.
The actual computer itself. Now, it's
CPU.
nice to have it up on top because I can plug in my USB drives, and I can turn it off and on. But really the biggest thing is, where's most of the dust in your house?
Right. A lot of people like to put that computer down on the floor. They've got things down there below.
Right.
That's where all that dirt is. And that's how you get these messy computers.
Right.
You want to avoid that. So getting your computer up high, especially if you have pets. I mean,
Right.
the hair is floating along that floor level. You've seen the carpet. You've
Right.
seen the vacuum cleaner.
Right.
Not a good
Yeah,
thing.
A lot of computers end up looking like pigpen on peanuts, just little clouds of dust that go rolling
So,
up.
one of the things you want to do is get your computer up high off the ground. That will reduce that dirt.
Okay.
But once you have that dirt, you still have to clean it.
All
What
right,
do you
now-
recommend for that?
Well, a lot of people say, well, just take a vacuum cleaner to it, but
No,
don't do that.
Don't do that one.
Because a vacuum cleaner generates static electricity. So if you really want to kill your computer real quickly, generate a static charge that fries the
Zap that
components that
thing,
will
yeah.
make your computer die. So here's what you want to do. We're going to give you a little shopping list today during today's.
Yeah.
So the first item on your shopping list is a can of compressed air.
Now you have to buy air in cans.
You got to buy air in cans. Well,
What's the world coming to?
because this air's been filtered, and you'll get one of those little plastic nozzles that you stick in the thing,
Like WD-40.
like WD-40, and you can take it, and you get this at any office supply store, computer store, one of those places. You tell them you want some compressed air. You open up your computer and you just blow the dust out.
Blow that stuff right out of there.
Once it's out of the computer, then you can take the vacuum cleaner and clean it up off the floor.
Well, as long as I'm cleaning up my computer, what am I going to do with the monitor? I get those little smudge marks all over the place.
Right.
Should I
From
just
going
Windex
touching
on
things
that?
No, don't use Windex. Don't use any kind
I
of
used
glass
to use that on
cleaner.
my old CRT.
Yeah, well, the old CRT was like a television screen,
Okay.
and everything was in a big tube that was all enclosed glass.
Yeah.
Modern computers, there's a piece of glass, but what's behind it is very fragile, and fluid that gets in behind there can cause serious problems.
Yeah, you know, when you touch it, you get that little mark on there.
you get fingerprints.
Well,
and
then
that
you can
kind
see
of
how it affects the image on the screen.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You touch
That's
it,
how
you go-
delicate it is.
Yeah, it is delicate, and you and I actually use the same method, and of course we're incredibly cheap, so we go for a very cheap method, but it's very effective, and that's to go over to your sink and
use
get
water.
some water. Now, second item on your shopping list though needs to be a very soft cloth.
Soft microfiber.
Microfiber
a
cloth,
lens cloth.
and I would recommend getting 2 of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have one that you put a little bit of water on, squeeze the water out real good so it's just barely damp. Then you wipe that on your computer screen and let it sit for a minute or two. Okay, after a minute or two, you come back with the dry one, buff it all off, and in most cases that will knock off all the nastiness off your
Remember,
screen.
they're delicate too, so you still got to be
If
careful.
you want to be really fancy, you can get distilled water and that kind of stuff.
What about this?
That's a keyboard.
Yeah.
And do keyboards get dirty?
Stuff gets down inside of here. What are you going to
cookie
do with
crumbs and all sort of things go down in there. Well, here's my favorite thing to do, Lee. Turn it over and tap it on the desk a few times. Just tap it.
that?
And
You might want
then-
to do it at a table or
Yeah,
somewhere.
take it away from the computer.
Because it's
tap
going to
it.
make a mess.
Yeah, tap it, get all those little nasty things out of there. And then if you've got schmutz on the keys, not so bad on black keys, but if you've got lighter color keys,
Wipe them off?
again, same thing. Soft cloth, a little bit of water, wipe it on, then dry it off. And just very gently with it.
On one of our shows for Black Friday, we saw a thing that you actually squeeze down in, and
Yeah,
it sort of
that was cool.
sticks to things.
Yeah,
and
that
pulls
might
it
be
out.
good if you got a really dirty keyboard. So a few things that you can do to keep your hardware running more efficiently. Big one is kill those dust bunnies.
And cleaning up your wires.
We'll get back to that in the next segment when we
Wireless
come
helps.
back after just this short break.